Hi, welcome to the Mammoth Tech Show. I'm Jeff, and today we're looking at Oxenfree, an indie game by developers Night School on the Nintendo Switch. So what is Oxenfree? The name doesn't exactly give any clues. Well, it's mostly an adventure style game, and unlike a lot of indie games, the developers have not tried to go for a stylized or high concept look. The graphics are nice, but it's really the sound that takes center stage with Oxenfree. The game is entirely voice acted, and it's done very well. You play as Alex, and you and your companions are on a trip to Edwards Island, a strange local island with an odd past.
This night has turned banana bread.
The game's soundtrack is also extremely good, and along with the excellent voice acting is the highlight of the game. Being an adventure game, your job is to wander around and find things, although in Oxenfree, what you find is normally information rather than objects you can use. Although the camera can zoom in and does briefly on occasions, you are normally seeing the characters as you do now, at a long distance, in a very zoomed out wide shot. Because of this, it's very difficult to really identify with, or even sometimes to just identify, the different characters. The virtual focal length of the in-game camera matches the distance you feel to the characters. It's like a movie that starts with an atmospheric wide opening shot and just never cuts to the characters. The game is definitely plot driven. In some games it's fun to just wander around and the plot just goes on in the background, but in Oxenfree you are being pushed to travel from point to point to advance the story. The plot of which is basically to find out what's going on Edwards Island. But there is also the selection of companion characters you have to deal with. Or not. It really doesn't seem to matter that much, and that's probably Oxenfree's biggest weakness. Oxenfree features an odd dialogue system. Unlike most similar games where the world stops when you need to choose what you're going to say to another character, this game doesn't. You get a choice of normally 3 options which appear on screen for what seems like 3 picoseconds before vanishing, never to be seen again. The dialogue system really just plays like an extended QuickTime event, with all the associated annoyances. Fail to make a choice, and the conversation from NPCs just carries on regardless. At first this makes conversations just an exercise in panic and frustration, but you soon realise that they just don't matter, and you can basically ignore them. This really does sever any tenuous, distant connection you may have had with any of the characters. The game is supposed to encourage you to develop relationships between the characters, and really tries to make you choose sides in arguments and the like, but in the end it's just easier to ignore this part of the game and just throw rocks in the sea. This Switch version has a very odd control system quirk. The dull QTE dialogue system hogs the top 3 buttons, with the dialogue options appearing in a pyramid formation so you can choose the top, left or right option. This means only the bottom button is free to be the action or interact button. On an Xbox style button layout, this is okay, as the primary action button has been oddly assigned to the bottom left, but on Nintendo consoles it's the bottom right. The reasonings for this are often misunderstood and could probably make up an entire episode all on their own, but the end result in this case is that you're constantly having to press the wrong button to interact. It's okay if you regularly play on different systems and are used to swapping control schemes, but if you are only really used to Nintendo button layouts, then this could feel quite weird. There is also an odd game mechanic involving tuning your pocket radio. Get the tuning right and things will unlock, often literally. This can be fun, but it definitely serves as a reminder of the flakiness and annoyances of old analog radio.
Dog Niner. Bay Chemo. Thresher.
Overall, Oxenfree is an interesting game. It's been on sale at the Nintendo eShop for a few weeks now, and as of recording, it's currently topping the eShop charts, which will undoubtedly please developers. At that sale price, it was certainly worth a go. Once you realise you can just ignore the frustrating aspects of the game, you are free to enjoy the soundtrack and the odd story. At its higher price, I would be less inclined to recommend it, although if you think you can get on board with the split-second dialogue system and want to explore the various character development routes these options give, then there is potential for some replay value. Oxenfree is a flawed but interesting game, and it's nice to see it ported to the Switch, although it's probably a game that you should just play on your TV. Trying to play this zoomed out game in handheld mode could make you feel like you're looking down the wrong end of a telescope. Thanks for watching, and if you've got any comments on Oxenfree or any suggestions for what we should review in future, please leave them in the comments. I've been Jeff, and thank you very much for watching.